Egypt's central bank, in the meantime, they are going to confront soaring inflation, and you've also got a flagging economy when it meets today to decide on interest rate policy. Bloomberg's Simone Foxman has the details. Simone, what have you been hearing from economists ahead of the decision?
The expectation here, I think, on a broad basis is that we are going to get a rate hike today. The exact magnitude of that hike, that's a little bit more in question. If we dive into our chart here, GTV Go for clients, you'll see kind of the picture that's been evolving. We're seeing inflation march higher. That's in the white. And we're looking at the value of the pound going against that in the orange. As you see, it's rapidly been declining and continuing to decline even over the last couple of days, weakening past 30 to the U.S. dollar. What's not here is also food inflation. That was the biggest driver of inflation in the December figures that we got. You know, the question mark for economists is, will hiking rates at some point quell the declines that we're seeing in the Egyptian pound, and will it draw foreign investment dollars back into the country? On that latter point, we are seeing a little bit of evidence of that. We have another chart here showing that the widest discount right now between T-bills and emerging market debt ever. So there is a lot of reason for investors to try and come into these local debt markets. That is something that Gordon Bowers told Arneti Ismail just a couple weeks ago. He's at Columbia Threadneedle. He says, we finally see the conditions for re-entering the local market after a year of being underweight. Now, how important that is to the central bank, that's also in question today as well.
And then Airbus and Qatar Airways appear to have resolved a lengthy feud over flaking paint on the A350.
Yeah, a feud first teased by Akbar al-Bakr, the CEO of Qatar Airways, with us actually about a year and a half ago. It had been the subject of a very public court proceedings. It hadn't yet culminated in an actual court case, but we'd seen all these filings of both companies going after each other. Now it appears they have settled the matter according to statements. They haven't disclosed all of the details, but we do understand that there is a repair plan in place for those Qatar Airways planes that the airline decided to ground because of these paint issues. They said it was a safety issue. Airbus did not. Also important from an aviation perspective is the revival of some contracts that Qatar Airways had to purchase Airbus planes. That includes more A350s, some 23 A350 jets that it had declined to accept from the plane maker, and also the revival of a deal to purchase some 50 A321 Neos. Those are a little bit smaller single-aisle planes that it had wanted to buy. Those it will start to see delivered in 2026.
And then also an update on the political front with the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's call for calm.
Well, he called for calm between Israelis and Palestinians while he was visiting Israel earlier this week. But unfortunately, I have to report that there is just ongoing violence that only seems to be continuing. We saw militants from Hamas fire rockets into southern Israel late Wednesday. And now we're looking at a response from the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, which say they targeted what they called a rocket production facility in Gaza. Luckily, no casualties reported as of yet. But what we're seeing is, in part, the result of the hardline coalition that's been elected, led by Benjamin Netanyahu, his national security minister, really angering some Palestinians by talking about making harsher treatment for detainees in prisons. Does this inflame the conflict and the discussions about that on a regional basis? That's kind of a question mark for us now.